Yes. Okay, thank you. So I was saying, Ed is an architect, and he brings that perspective and skill set to our commission. So we welcome you. If other commissioners have not yet met Commissioner Cordes, please be sure to introduce yourselves before you leave today. Before we ask for a motion to adopt the agenda, Karen, are there any changes to the agenda today?
No, sir.
Okay, may I have a motion then to approve the agenda as prepared? Moved by Commissioner Whaley, supported by Commissioner Campbell. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. We'll move on to the approval of minutes from the meeting of June 20th, 24. You've all had a chance to review those. Commissioner Hens, did you have a comment or a question about the minutes?
Yes, on page 2, section B, the last paragraph, second to last line, it identifies the speaker as myself. If we could identify who that is, I think it'll be more clear for the minutes.
Did you find that, Karen? Okay. So with
Other
that,
than that, I move to approve the minutes.
moved by Commissioner Hens, supported by Vice Chair O'Neill. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please raise your right hand. And that is unanimous as well. We have no unfinished business, and we'll be moving into new business now to consider case what's called PPR-001137-2024. Here's how this will work. We will hear a presentation on this project, and then we will have questions by the commissioners of the presenter. Then we'll close that section, open up the public hearing, have the public hearing and have the opportunity for the public to speak. Then we'll close the public hearing. It will come back to the commission for discussion. And this time, instead of being a recommendation to town council, we will be making this decision today. So as you hear the presentation and ask your questions, keep in mind, we will be asked to approve this. We have final approval of this project, okay? With that said, Trey, are you up today? Great.
All right, I'm Trey Lau, Interim Development Services Program Manager for the time being. And as we discussed just now, we are here to review public project review number 001137-2024. That is the Caligany Circle Pocket Park. And I have a location map pulled up for you here. The actual parcel is this complete square here, and it includes the circle here, but the subject property is going to be right here, and this is adjacent to Caligany Plaza. So Caligany Plaza is all right here. The name of the restaurant here eludes me right now, but there's a restaurant right here, and then the shops are back behind over here. And then obviously the Atlantic Ocean is down to the south of what we're looking at right here. All right. So some of the existing conditions as they are right now, there's a sign, there is a bio-retention pond here. It's usually never anything in it. Every now and then there's something in it. From what I hear, this is where flip-flops go to die. I think the multi-use pathway there is a little thin, so don't know what's going on there with people losing flip-flops, but for some reason they get over in that little drainage facility there. And then this is your pathway from the entry over here from the pedestrian walkway. And then your parking conditions that are actually part of the parcel in Caligany Plaza. I think that's all we got right there. And then our proposed plans are here. And this is what we're going to be reviewing today. So this would be a pocket park in here, would incorporate some parking here. And then it would be the multi-use pathway would be widened and then made to better serve the amount of traffic that is there today. As you know, this is one of our major thoroughfares going through this area right here. So it'll really enhance that portion of the multi-use pathway. And so with that, I'll get into a little background on it. So a little background on this is Parks and Recreation is one of the major core values under the town's hour plan. Under the Parks and Recreation core value, there are 8 major goals, one of them being to continue to promote and prioritize the value parks and recreation add to the island community. This area along Coligny Circle, the junction of 3 of the town's most prominent corridors, Pope Avenue, North Forest Beach Drive, and South Forest Beach Drive, is adjacent to one of the town's most highly used multi-use pathways, is highly visible, and is in need of some revitalization. And with that, I'll move on to a bit of a description of the project. So the proposed development will be a passive use pocket park, providing enhanced pathway connections on a heavily traveled pathway corridor, and will provide new, accessible, and inclusive civic space that allows for pedestrian connectivity from the multi-use path to the adjacent retail center, Coligny Plaza. Civic gathering space will energize the park and provide enhanced visual continuity between public and private properties. The existing 8-foot wide multi-use pathway will be replaced with a new 12-foot wide path to safely accommodate both pedestrian and bicycle movements. Therefore, no more lost flip-flops, we hope. All right, so the existing dry pond currently serves as a surge relief valve for the undersized, let me scroll up so you can see that, for the undersized pipeline within the Coligny Circle right-of-way. This area will be reshaped as part of the park project and will have equal or greater storage volume than the existing condition. The stormwater feature will be designed as a bioretention area with indigenous wetland grass areas, creating a visual amenity, interpretive signage overlooking and explaining the bioretention area is also proposed. So kind of like an amenity there as opposed to just a drainage ditch, the way it is right now and exists. Also, okay, so now we're going to move on to the location, area, and extent, which is what we will be deciding on today. Per Land Management Ordinance Section 16.2.103 Q4, Public Project Review Standards, in determining whether or not proposed public project is compatible with the comprehensive plan, the Planning Commission shall consider whether the location, character, and extent of the proposed development is consistent with or conflicts with the plan's goal and implementation strategies. All right, so the summary and findings of facts that we'll go over first are whether they met the notice deadlines outlined in Appendix D24 and LMO Section 16.2.102E, which they all did. All right, so we'll move on to our findings of fact. All right, so the adopted comprehensive plan addresses the location, character, and extent of this project in the Parks and Recreation and infrastructure. For location, Parks and Recreation community theme, strategies and tactics of pathways, and that is to identify areas for improved access to public pathways and expansions of the current system that enhance user experiences in new ways. For character, we used infrastructure's core value, strategies and tactics, plan for and expand and enhance the multi-use pathway network to provide a comprehensive island-wide network that provides for recreation opportunities and an alternative means of transportation to, from, and on the island. And then for extent, also infrastructure core value, continue to assess the viability of providing new and improved multi-use pathways and supporting infrastructure in conjunction with each town road improvement project. So our conclusion of law is we believe that the comprehensive plan supports the location of the proposed project. We also believe that the comprehensive plan supports the character of the proposed project, and we also believe that the comprehensive plan supports the extent of the proposed project. The LMO's official determination, which let me scroll to right there, is the LMO official determines this application is compatible with the comprehensive plan for the location, character, and extent as based on the above findings of fact and conclusions of law. And at this point, per LMO Section 16.2.103 Q4, Public Project Review Standards, the Planning Commission's role is to determine whether the application is compatible or is not compatible with the comprehensive plan for location, character, and extent. And with that, that concludes my presentation, and then we'll move on to questions. questions and public comment.
All right, thank you, Trey. I'm going to invite commissioners to ask questions of Trey, but be sure to activate your microphone if you choose to speak or. Are you good?
Test.
We're good. So are there any questions? Commissioner Hens?
Thanks, Trey. I just, if you can create a picture, it seems like the theme of this is to enhance the walkway. So it's not like a baseball field, it's the walkway that's the focus of this. And tell us what, instead of the drainage ditch, are you filling that up so that it's grass?
So I will ask our applicants to kind of fill us in on that, but I will tell you from a connectivity standpoint, the reason we went with the pathway as the main portion of this is because what we're going to do is that multi-use pathway is going to be widened, and you'll see the yellow areas there. They're going to provide more connectivity to the adjacent property, Caligny Plaza. As of right now, as you cross the street, crossing North Forest Beach, you either enter Caligny Plaza or go to the left and go around, and then you're going to go up to the other restaurants and shops that way. With the new pocket park, we'll be able to, or passive pocket park, as you will, we'll be able to access the community a little more.
Perfect. Yeah, so it's for pedestrians.
Correct.
It's not for Frisbee or anything like that. That's not the passive park. That's just going to be a green area that makes, it makes it look prettier for the pedestrians walking to and from.
Correct. There could be some areas to sit, some areas to maybe park your bike and hang out for a little while. But the main goal is to provide that connectivity that's
Perfect.
missing there right now.
Yeah, and if you could just let me know, instead of the flip-flop container area, is that gonna be filled, or is it gonna still be a drainage basin?
Trey? Just Trey Griffin, Wooden Partners.
Trey Griffin with Voting Partners. The answer, unfortunately, is it still has to be somewhat of a basin. We are exploring the opportunity to fill, but seasonal groundwater is too high. And so we can't get the stormwater storage capacity that we need to maintain by filling and doing underground. So it's still going to be somewhat of a basin.
It's gonna be a prettier basin.
It's going to be, the idea is that it gets reshaped to hold the same stormwater volume, but in a user-friendly way that improves sort of the aesthetics of the circle and gives some people access, passive but not recreation, just,
Right.
aesthetics.
Great. Thank you.
Other questions? Commissioner Mueller?
Yes, so the access of the additional parking spaces highlighted in that purple, is that entered into from the Caligny, the established Caligny Plaza, or is that a different entry into that parking lot?
So the purple areas you see are not vehicular, they're pedestrian, and it's existing. Cars will access Caligny parking just as they would do today. None of that changes.
And so this is one of 4 corners of that circle. Are the other corners at some point, or are they already expanded to that, from that 8 to 12-foot pathway?
I'll have to let the town answer. I believe that some are and some aren't. I think that the southwest quadrant is still tight, but some of the improvements that occurred with Low Country on the sort of the western side were expanded. But I'll have to let you guys talk to that one.
And that's all I had.
Yeah, I've not been out there and measured myself, but I've been out there a good bit, and visually I would say that they're not 12 feet. They're probably 8 feet or smaller in some areas, especially closer to the Atlantic on the flatbread side. I know as you go into that tree, which we try to retain, it gets really narrow under there, so.
Commissioner Whaley?
Two quick questions. What's bioretention? You referred to it in the description. I have no clue what that means. I would imagine.
So if you think of stormwater in the pond you see, instead of it being a wet pond, it's a dry pond, but it allows water to filter through the soils and cleanse it sort of before it gets back into the groundwater or into the stormwater system.
So do you like amend the soil so it's different layers in it? So I'm trying just to understand it, basically.
You can do a lot of amendments to improve. It's really more of a planting concept that helps the plants filter the water before they get into the groundwater.
Okay, and is there any significance to these little circles with numbers and arrows on them? That's all I had.
Those represent the views of those photos that Trey had scrolled through. Yeah.
Other commissioner questions or comments? Commissioner Cordes.
Are you retaining the plantings there, or are those new plantings, or a mix?
The basin itself will most likely be reshaped, and so we'll have to replant it.
The trees?
The trees will certainly save any specimen of significant oaks. Some of the pines, obviously, depending on the final circulation, may have to be removed, but they will all be replaced for, the LMO requirements for plant bank.
Okay. Commissioner Hens?
So right now, I recall there's a sign there for Caligny, if I'm correct. Is that sign going to stay or go? Or is there a sign there at all?
There is an existing sign. I think we're working with staff to determine whether that stays. I would imagine there's some sort of town park signage. Whether it has any relation to Caligny, I think is to be determined.
Other questions or comments at this point? Okay, hearing none, I would like to, we will come back to discussion here after public hearing. I would like to open the public hearing and ask that anybody who comes to speak to us, please give us your name and understand that you'll be limited to 3 minutes of comments. So who would like to speak with us today? Doesn't look like anybody wants to, so I will close the public hearing and it comes back to us for discussion. So our role is to determine whether or not this project as proposed fits within the comprehensive plan, and we've just heard from staff that in the key areas that they've studied, they said that's their recommendation to us, that we find that it fits within the comprehensive plan. So does anybody have action we'd like to take, Tom?
I move to approve.
Commissioner Hens moves to approve, seconded by Commissioner Mueller. Other commission discussion? Hearing none, let me call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Trey. I appreciate your report. I don't believe there's any other commission business. Under chair report, I would just say that thank you for those who were able to attend one or both of the community engagement projects within the last week or two. I think the town is making an effort to get more neighborhood involvement in what's going on here, and it was helpful for me for one to see how that was playing out, and I saw many of you there, and I appreciated you doing that, so thanks for your involvement there. Shay now is going to give us a staff report that talks about some of the things that are coming up on our future agendas. So Shay?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, commission members. Shay Farrar for the record with community planning. We have updates for you on the LMO and districts project. We had the first workshop for the priority amendments for the LMO. Many of you attended that or viewed that online, and we appreciate your engagement, as this will be future work for the commission. A partial review occurred of the priority amendments, so right now there will be a follow-up meeting scheduled for the continuation of that review by town council, and we will make you aware and invite you to that meeting when it's scheduled as well. For districts, we have that meeting next Tuesday at 1 p.m. in Chambers, another town council workshop. That will be focused on the theme, character, vision, and focus areas for each of the 7 districts. The Mid-Island District was approved back in 2022. And then we have the larger LMO project, which will follow. There's a lot of work being done in the background, and alignment with the district plans is a priority for that project. Again, thank you all for your attendance of the town council workshop, as well as the public meetings out in Jonesville and Muddy Creek. It was wonderful to have all of you involved, and we look forward to that in the future.
Hi, Shay, thanks for providing the update. A couple of us did attend the workshop on Monday. It seemed like there were things that were still going to require discussions, but one of the topics that came up that was kind of new to me is the notion of a hotel conversion zoning project. Can you give us a little background on how that started and what the general intent is?
I can't speak to the actual project itself that was noted at the meeting, but I can explain that the LMO currently allows for a conversion, and there are conversions to residential, so they're looking at the opportunity for hotel conversions.
And are there properties that would fall into this? Because I can't visualize it, so I'm just hoping that at some point we can understand.
Well, I think that you can anticipate that information as part of the follow-up on those items. The questions that were raised at the meeting, there were requests for examples, maps, things of that nature that would help better explain. So there will be a follow-up on all of those requests.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Any other questions of Shay? Good, we're good. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you.
that. Is there any other business that, I'm not aware of any, but is there any other items that anyone else in the commission would like to raise before we adjourn? Seeing none, we will stand adjourned.